All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is Daily Vlog 2025, number 56. So, today, I have been doing prep work for another D&D game. I know I'm cheating on my D&D players, but I I have a buddy who streams, um, and he started streaming D&D games because his community had me in it, and I was strongly encouraging of people to play D&D in general. And he's been playing D&D since like the 90s. So when he started streaming it, his community got really, really excited, and they went, God, I wish we could play. And obviously, inviting random chat members onto your stream, not the greatest idea in the world. But he did want to have something for his community to be able to kind of get together and play D&D. And so I volunteered to set them up a D&D program. We basically, by we, I mean I, basically stole the rules from the old school D&D Adventures League rules. So none of the new stuff with like treasure points and experience tokens. Just kind of your more standard D&D session with a few limitations to make it easier for people to play. And so over a year ago, I started getting all this stuff setting up. I found some DMs from within the community to play, and the thing was going pretty well. They were running probably about somewhere between 2 and 4 games a month. And we were using Old Adventures League adventures, again, to make it easier for everything to kind of be on the same page. And yeah, overall it was a lot of fun. And then both DMs got massively sick with that which must not be named and couldn't run for a couple of months, and then everything just died. Like no one was running anything. And basically the way that I set it up was, because of my disability, I can't run a program like this. Like I am just far too it's far too much a drain on my health to be able to run it long term. And so I spent about like 5 to 6 months setting it up with the intention of kind of turning over the reins to the DMs to run themselves, and I would only like occasionally check in to make sure everything was going well. Well, that didn't work. So this month I am running a game for that community to try and get people excited about playing again, and I'm currently looking for people in that group to kind of step up and run games and stuff like that. And I'm coming up with some alternate ideas. So anyway, I decided to run an adventure that I've run before. It's a really fun adventure to run because it starts off at a tavern, like all good D&D games start. But instead of it being you start off at a tavern and you get hired to go to this goblin camp, no, you're actually at an art event in this tavern. And the inciting incident is a fire starts out. And so the initial part of the adventure is dealing with that, and then you have to go all over Mulmaster trying to figure out why the fires, because this isn't the only fire that's happened. Fires keep starting up all over Mulmaster, and you have to try and figure out what's causing them. So there is combat in it, because it wouldn't be D&D without some form of combat, but there's a lot of role-playing and kind of whodunit and sleuthing and stuff like that. And it's really fun. You get to run all over Mulmaster. So yeah, it's remarkably fun. So that being said, uh, with the D&D Adventures League adventures, they give you everything that you need to run it in the actual adventure. Like all the monster stat blocks are in there, any maps that you need are in there, but the maps are drawn on grid paper and they look like hand-drawn maps and stuff like that, which is perfectly fine. But if I'm going to be running it, because I run them through Roll20, if I'm going to be running it through Roll20 and everything like that, I am going to add a little bit of class to it. And so I am basically recreating the map of the tavern using Incarnate. And so that's what I've been doing for the past like hour. Which is a pain in the ass when your dominant hand tremor, or you have a tremor in your dominant hand. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and it's a fun adventure. I'm hoping if things work the way that I would like them to, I get this program up and running again. It becomes self-sustaining. Whether or not that's a thing that's going to happen, I don't know. I'm thinking that I need, in addition to finding DMs to run, I need to find somebody in the community to just basically head the program and, you know, contact each one of the dungeon masters and go, hey, are you running something this month? When are you running? What time slot are you doing it in? Stuff like that. So, yeah, so that's what I've been doing. I've been talking with a couple different people to kind of resolve an issue I'm having over one of my tables. In my most recent conversation, we were kind of talking about the difference between something like Dungeons and Dragons and a system like Fate. If you're not familiar with Fate, Fate is a very rules-light system. And one of the more unique aspects about Fate is while you can kind of treat it just like Dungeons and Dragons where you make your characters beforehand and everything's kind of decided before you go in, it's actually designed and works a little bit better for you to actually kind of not only create your characters as you are playing, like you'll create your base character, but then there are aspects of the character that you can just define as you are playing. You can go, well, you know, it makes sense because of what's going on in the story and my background. It makes sense if I had this aspect or this focus. I can't remember what the terms are in Fate. And so it's a significantly more collaborative role-playing game than something like D&D, where the majority of the responsibility for creating the story comes from the DM. And I'm not saying that players shouldn't be involved in the creating of the story, but D&D, as it is written, you know, rules as written, kind of assumes that the DM is going to be writing the story and the players are going to be adding to that story with their specific characters. But they don't really expect the players to come up with like city names and stuff like that. You can play that way, and I have played that way, but that's not the way that the game is intentionally designed. And so Fate in and of itself is, again, for people that are very confident in their creative abilities, it's a fantastic game. For people that need a little bit more structure to be able to be creative, which isn't a bad thing, it's just a different thing. Fate can seem very, very overwhelming because you get that kind of paralysis of choice. You know, somebody goes, okay, well, what do you want to do? Well, what can I do? Anything. And that's kind of how Fate plays. And I think there are, you know, drawbacks and benefits to both styles of role-playing game. You know, the more structured ones do allow for surprising the players more. When the players, in like a Fate style game, when the players are also the writers, it starts becoming significantly more difficult to spring surprises on them because they're writing it with the DM. And I'm not saying you can't surprise players in a Fate game, but I find it significantly easier when you have something significantly more structured where the players are only focusing on their characters. You can weave things in the background and not have to worry about somebody writing something later that contradicts with something that you haven't told the players yet. One of my first campaigns, because my players specifically just didn't tend to do a lot to find out more about the world. They were very objective oriented. Oh, what are we supposed to do? Okay, we go here. What are we supposed to do? Okay, we go here. But they really didn't spend a lot of time learning the why behind anything. So very often, I would use the phrase, "Well, you can't do that because of things you guys aren't aware of right now." But that's just not how it works. And some of the my intention of it was, if you'd like to learn about that by using that phrase, if you'd like to learn about that, you could explore here or here, and you can find out why it's not working. But as of right now, your characters don't know why they can't do that. They just can't do that. Or you don't know why it's not working the way it's supposed to. But your characters understand that this isn't the way this is supposed to work. And my intention was that would be the little breadcrumbs that I would give them in order to encourage them to start learning more about the world and start investigating, as opposed to, okay, DM, where is my next quest marker? Because I don't really enjoy running games where it's basically, I tell you what to do and then you go do it. And it just didn't work very well. It might have been that was my first long form campaign, and so I was still kind of developing my skills at that point. But yeah. So anyway, that's what I've been doing today. Kind of a boring of a video, but I'm not massively sick, so that's a good thing, and I'm happy about that. So anyway, it's gonna be all for me today. I will see you guys next time. All right, bye bye.